What did the police in LA do to get my parts back? Absolutely nothing, not a goddamn thing. Hi everyone, I've been meaning to make this video for years and years and years. But today, after surfing Twitter and seeing all the police brutality going on and all that stuff, today's finally the day. So this video is why I have zero respect for the police, not one drop of respect for them at all. And I had no respect for them years before today, right? Years before all the recent uprising by people all around the country and world against the police. So I want to tell my own one story, and I have multiple. In fact, this is going to be the first of a multi-part series on why I have zero respect for the police, with direct empirical evidence from my own life. Never mind the fact that their entire salary is paid for with extortion, and that people like me and others that don't agree with what they're doing are still forced to pay for them to lock people in jail for having a plant that makes them feel happy and all sorts of other things. But me and my own story and my own life and my own business. So some of you know who I am, others don't, that's fine. I started a business in Silicon Valley called Memorydealers.com. We sold computer memory and optical transceivers to people all over the world. It was ran out of a building in Santa Clara there. More than a decade ago now, one night in the middle of the night, maybe I think it was 4 a.m. or something, I'd have to go and get a copy of the police report and figure out the exact time. But somebody with a rented U-Haul truck in reverse crashed the truck right through the roll-up door in the building in the middle of the night, and they came in and they stole well over $1 million worth of stuff. They stole my inventory, right? These are the computer parts that we sold to people all over the world. They came in the middle of the night and stole a whole bunch of it, right? So over $1 million worth of inventory was stolen from me. To their credit, the police showed up, the alarm went off, and the police showed up, I don't know, half an hour later or something like that, did a report. They spent a bunch of time getting all the information for the insurance company and for the police and this and that. But these were very, very specialized parts, right? So in fact, the majority of what were stolen were these parts. These were optical transceivers. There were actually two companies in that building. One was Memorydealers, my company. The other was AgileStar, which was also my company. But most people didn't realize that Memorydealers and AgileStar were both so closely related. Memorydealers was busy selling AgileStar branded optical transceivers. And so they stole a whole bunch of these AgileStar branded optical transceivers. And then sure enough, maybe 2 weeks after the break-in happened, and this is a pretty specialized market, a company down from Los Angeles called up Memorydealers because they saw that we were one of the biggest distributors in the world for AgileStar parts. So they called up Memorydealers and they said, oh, we have a whole bunch of AgileStar parts that we would like to sell. Well, we see that you deal in AgileStar parts. Would you be interested in these? And of course, these were the parts that had been stolen, 10 days or 2 weeks earlier. So I think, hooray, great. We found the parts that had been stolen from the break-in there. This was fantastic, right? So I called the local Santa Clara Police Department where the theft had taken place originally. And I said, hey guys, great news. I found the parts that were stolen. We have all the serial numbers. We can prove 100% for sure these are the parts that were stolen in the break-in. What did the Santa Clara Police do? Absolutely nothing. So then I called the Los Angeles Police Department in the town where this business was that had all my stolen parts. And I said, hey, I'm calling from Santa Clara, California. I own the business Memorydealers. We had a break-in about 2 weeks ago. Here's the police report number with the Santa Clara Police Department. More than $1 million worth of my parts were stolen. So it's not like I'm calling about $20 or something. It was more than $1 million, significantly more than $1 million, right, worth of parts were stolen. So I called the police department down there and say, hey, here's my, significantly more than $1 million worth of my parts. Here's the business that has them. Let's go talk to them, figure out where they got them from, and hopefully even track down the people that actually broke into my place in the middle of the night and stole the parts. What did the police in LA do to get my parts back? Absolutely nothing, not a goddamn thing. So then I called the FBI, right, the federal police. And I explained to them that I own a business and, I've been paying more than $1 million in taxes for years already at this point, right? So I called the FBI and I explained to them, I'm the owner of Memorydealers in Santa Clara. We had more than $1 million worth of my parts stolen in a break-in. Here's the police report number from the Santa Clara PD that came and took the report. There's a company down in LA now that has all of my stolen parts, more than $1 million worth of parts. I can prove it with the serial numbers. We had them in inventory. They were stolen that night. Here's where they are. Can you please help me to get my parts back, right? This is a huge amount of money. What did the FBI do to help me? Not a goddamn thing. Right? And I'm mad, right? So I'm not even an American anymore, but I'm mad. They did absolutely nothing to help me with this, right? So the Santa Clara Police Department did nothing, the LAPD did nothing, and the FBI did nothing to help me get my $1 million worth of parts stolen. But you know what they were Johnny on the spot to do? After this break-in happened, I spent a bunch of money and I put in these big giant steel bollards and reinforced like steel beams and everything so that if anybody tried to crash a car through the roll-up doors in my office ever again, they'd probably get killed, right? Because like they'd be hitting like basically a solid steel wall. You'd have to have like a whole semi-truck. They'd probably knock over the entire concrete wall of the building there. And I put locks all over the inside of the building so we could lock up the entire building and to compartmentalize things at night when nobody's around there. I installed super loud like loudspeakers in there so that the alarm would go off if the people didn't have earplugs in already. They'd have to plug their ears because it was going to be so loud there. I think it was like a 130 decibel siren or something I bought. And if they had to plug their ears with their hands, they wouldn't be able to use their hands to steal any more of my stuff. And so I installed all this stuff here, and especially like all the locks, that everything would be compartmentalized. So even if they crashed a car through one part of the building, and then they wouldn't be able to get access to the rest of the building. They'd only have that little access to whatever room they crashed the car in through to get into the building. So you know what the police were super Johnny on the spot to do? They were super ready to come out there and threaten me and complain about all the locks I put on. Said, oh, this lock doesn't comply with this ordinance and this and that. And they were worried that like maybe somehow I was going to lock somebody in the building somehow and like use it as a dungeon or something like that. They insisted that all the locks on the inside had to be openable. So if someone gets in any one part of the building, they can open all the doors and get everywhere. And they're out there, and I had a big giant fight with the city over as to what locks I could have on there. And it was a giant headache. So they were more than willing to harass me about what type of locks I put on the building here. But they weren't willing to do anything at all to get my parts back that were stolen. So really disgusting. And then they insist that, I pay them, $1 million+ every single year to pay them. And then they had the nerve, they called me up one time and they asked for a voluntary donation to the police department after that if we want to support the local PD. No, the local Santa Clara PD can go to hell in my book. I'd like my money back that I paid you guys all those years because you did absolutely nothing to help me. But I have at least 2 additional stories about how the Santa Clara PD and the federal government as well, they're all just they're a waste of time and money. And if you want to have people actually protecting your property, they should hire security guards to do it themselves because the police department are only looking out for their own interests. They're not here to help anybody, and it's really disgusting. So there you have it, like firsthand. More than it was literally worth more than the building itself. I own the building that it was in too, and then they stole well over $1 million worth of parts here. And the Santa Clara PD, the LA Police Department in the town there, and then the FBI did absolutely nothing to help me get my parts back. Yet they'll be right there ready to, and then I should tell another story here. They harassed me for years with all the parts that we were importing, delaying them in customs all the time to the point where I literally had to call a guy, and his entire job was to call the customs office over and over again saying, did our parts clear yet? Did you clear our parts yet? Did you clear our parts yet? We need our parts, because these are computer parts. They go down in value week after week. They don't go up. And so his entire job was just to call them day after day to just basically be so annoying to them that it was easier for them to release our parts through customs than to delay them any longer. And so basically, and then here's another story with that too. So we were selling, and I have lots of them here, and we'll make a couple of separate videos here, but these same parts that we were selling, everybody wants them overnight, right? So they're paying $35-$50 for overnight shipping so they get them the very next day. Occasionally we even put people on airplanes internationally to like deliver the parts there so they could get them that fast, because when your network's down, like everything stops and you have to have the parts, and you'll do and pay anything to get them done. So these people want their parts overnight. At one point, some law enforcement agency, I don't know which one to this very day, we even filed a Freedom of Information Act request on it. Of course, they didn't reply to that at all either. But they were intercepting my packages going to my customers. And so instead of it getting there overnight, it would get there 3, 4, 5 days later. It was getting diverted to like Virginia or something. I forget exactly where now because it's been so many years. They were inspecting them or doing who knows what to them, and like making it so my customers didn't want to buy from me anymore because they wouldn't get the parts overnight because the police are intercepting them for no damn reason at all, other than they're doing some stupid secret investigation harassing me. And so it's like one of the lawyers that I had that helped me with all this, he advised me, he said, if the government just keeps putting glass in your shoe year after year after year, which is exactly what they did to me, while forcing me to pay for the glass that they're putting in my shoe, he said, you should probably just leave. They have it in for you. So here I am making another video on YouTube. I'm sure some people in law enforcement, the FBI and IRS and everybody else will see this and think, oh my God, what a bad guy it is. Well, I have some news for you guys. I don't support you one bit. I'm sick of you taking my money. I'm sick of you wasting it and then using my own money against me. So they always say, when the police arrest you, they say anything you can and say will be used against you. Maybe they're going to use what I say against me right here. But you know what else is true? Anything you can and do pay, they will use against you as well. So all the money you pay in taxes, they just use it against you. And we're seeing that with the police and law enforcement all over the country here and all this crazy stuff that's going on. So if you think that more government's going to solve the problems that government's already caused, you're wrong. We need less government, less police, less laws, more individual freedom, more individual responsibility. And if there's still some problems with people looting things and doing bad things, let's hire some private security guards to take care of that. You don't need the police with their, basically immunity to do anything. They can literally choke somebody to death right there on camera. And then I'm skeptical that anything's going to happen to that guy. And if something does, he'll be the exception, not the rule. Because the only difference between the police nowadays and the police decades ago is now more people have cameras and they can catch this thing on film. And you know what? I'll make some more videos in the future to talk about how the police just lie right through their teeth in my own life as well. I saw it firsthand with my own eyes in my own life. It's really disgusting. I've been, quiet about all this for so many years, but I'm tired of it at this point. So if you want to order one of these cool shirts that I have on, check out James Freeman's channel on YouTube. Fantastic. He talks to public servants the way they should be talked to if they're getting out of line. So I've really been enjoying his YouTube channel recently, so that's why I bought his shirt. And if you want to hear more of my stories about why I have absolutely zero respect for the police whatsoever, stay tuned because I'll record some of those at some point here soon too. So to all you police officers out there that happen to watch this video, go and find honest work. Go and work for a private security guard company. Go and do something else. Your entire salary is funded with money that's extorted from people against their will. People like me and people all over across the entire United States don't want to pay your salary. We don't support the war on drugs. We don't support you murdering people by putting your knee across their neck. We don't support what you're doing. If you were to go and actually catch people that break into businesses and steal parts, we'd support that. If you go and catch people that rape people or murder people or rob people, we would support that. When you're busy out there harassing people that haven't done anything, we don't support that. And that's the problem with you guys. There's zero accountability because we're forced to pay your salary against our will, and we have no choice in the matter whatsoever. So here I am. I don't know, I feel like I should donate some money to some police accountability organization or something too. If you guys have an idea as to how to handle that, let me know, put it in the comments below. But stay tuned for more videos and more stories from my own life about how the police did absolutely nothing to catch people that clearly deserved to be caught, and then went and focused on things for victimless crimes instead. So anyhow, what a bunch of waste you are. And if you... I'm just disgusted and glad I left, to be honest. So I'm watching all the crazy stuff happen in America. It's a great big world out there. America's not the best country in the world. It's not the worst one either. There's plenty of better places out there in the world, though. And when I see the way that the people in America get treated anytime they speak out against it, it makes me glad I left. That doesn't mean that other places are necessarily better, but there are plenty of places that are better in the world. So anyhow, that's the end of my rant today. Bitcoin Cash is the best tool the world has to undermine the police state and government trying to control peaceful people. That's why I'm in love with it, and that's why I'm promoting it every day. So give that a try if you haven't tried that yet either. See ya.